I should learn music so at least I can understand and appreciate in a more better way. I mean, by the time in my school, people used to call me like an encyclopedia of rock and roll because I used to know which band, which cassette, where they have recorded, who's the producer. I used to learn all those things during that time.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Jay, as Jayincorp. Today is another episode of Sit Down Podcast.
Perfect.
Good morning, friends and followers. Super excited to announce that we're taking the podcast on the road. We're going to Regina, Saskatchewan. We're going to be opening the show February 9th with Dead Levy and Braden King with an hour-long podcast. I'm super freaking excited for that one. We've partnered with none other than Prehistoric Productions is going to help us out with that one, as well as Inspired Vapor Company. So if you're looking to quit that nicotine habit and going to wean yourself off with some vape, go to Inspired Vapor Company and use the promo code FUNKY15 for 15% off any purchases either in-store or online. You can get tickets at the link in the comments or in my bio on Instagram. Super freaking excited. So we'll see you guys there.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back this week to those of you in-house and to those of you at home joining us this week.
Cheers.
Heck yeah.
Oh, you don't have a drink?
I have some water.
Oh, there you go.
Hey-o.
That works.
Right on. Yes, thank you for coming all the way out to Bellevue, Saskatchewan at Le Capitan Restaurant this week. We're very honored and pleased to have you here. So we actually, our regular followers will know this. We basically met Jay at an open stage that we were hosting.
Surprise.
Surprise. And we got to know him pretty well there. Very talented musician. And we're very interested in how you do things because as I understand it, you do all your own backing tracks. You do absolutely everything yourself. And I want to get into that and talk a little bit more about that. So let's start with first of all, where are you originally from, Jay?
I'm from a place called Kolkata, India, which is the eastern part of India. That's where I'm from. Born and brought up over there.
Just tell people how many people in Kolkata.
Oh, I really don't know. Probably millions.
Right.
I really don't have the exact figure, but yeah, it's a populated city.
It's one of those cities that
it's one of the oldest city in India as well.
It's one of those cities that makes Toronto look like a town.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny because Jay actually got lost in our little town here tonight.
That's right, and we have 4 streets.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens when you see too many people and you get lost in small spaces.
Heck yeah. So what brought you out to Saskatchewan and when did you come out here from there?
Saskatchewan is... I got my immigration because of my education and my experience. I used to work as a multimedia consultant and worked for a company for near about more than 10 years.
Okay.
And when I applied for my immigration, and this is what was told to me to come to Saskatchewan. And so I chose Saskatoon, apparently, and did some research and realized where should I go. I thought Saskatoon would be a good place to start, so I came December 2018.
Okay.
And did you choose Saskatoon also for the music, or was it just work related and the music is just a side effect?
I mean, I did not get much of information regarding music and stuff like that. The only thing which I got to know, to be very honest, because what the immigration, the whole process does is they get in touch with you with a group of people who actually give you some idea of where you're going, what are things that need to be done. Mm-hmm. That's by Canadian government. We usually provide those information. So I got contacted by, after I got my immigration, by, I exactly don't remember the name of that organization who contacted me. So gave me some of the idea of what you're doing and all that. So the music part, technically after I came here, I remember my IELTS was expired, and then I went for a CBL test for English, because for work-related stuff and all
Right.
that. So this one guy who was taking the test, I was having a discussion about stuff that I like and like to do. Then he said, "Oh, you like rock music? What kind of bands do you listen and stuff like that?" And then the first thing that he told me that, and I'm also a foodie, so I was thinking I want to have something very Canadian. When I also like music and stuff like that, he said like, "You should go to Smokies. You will like the place." And so yeah, I mean that's how I kind of get to know people going
Right.
from different places to places, stuff like that.
Hell yeah. Did
Cool.
you, so how old were you when you were like actually drawn to music and learn how to play the guitar? Like how long have you been playing guitar for?
I started at my 20. I started pretty late actually. Music was being a part of my life from a very young age. I was in my 3rd grade. To be honest, I was not interested in music before that, and like whatever my parents were listening, whatever everyone was listening, I was not very attracted to it. So during that time in India, we used to get video cassette VHS to watch cartoons and stuff like that, right? So I remember I was watching some kind of a superhero movie and all that, and after that, the next thing, I saw someone wearing a school dress, playing guitar and coming out of the TV. That blew my mind. It's like an epiphany. That was Blow Up Your Video by AC/DC. That's the way I want to rock and roll, and that's it.
That's
an
what drew you in.
Yeah. That's the rock and roll bug bit my head, and I was just head over heels on that. So you know, like I have to listen to this, and then I would bug my parents to go and buy cassettes, like go to places where music is available, because again those days, people who listen off the beat music which was going on, because it's pre-internet days, right? Like
Yep.
music is not easily available, but there was a very underground scene which is in India is there for a long time. I did not know because I was a kid during that time. So however, there are a few places my dad got to know, like, you know, you can find music what you like to listen, go there. And that's where those places I kind of got introduced to. There's a place called Free School Street in Calcutta. So
Okay.
you find old books and old cassettes and old records. It's the street for that. And
Really?
people who travel would sell books and exchange cassettes and stuff like that. And I got to know so many things and met so many beautiful people there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's more like a hippie street, you could say.
Yeah, Right. yeah.
You know, like,
Does it still exist?
oh yeah, it still
Oh.
exists. I mean, it's not like that what it used to be.
No.
But in those days, and that was like, and it's an amazing. It's like a heaven to me. I would go there and hang out. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever, like, did somebody teach you how to play guitar, or are you self-taught?
Yeah. So what happened was, like, I was interested in music and I was listening to different types of music, and I got introduced to rock and roll, which are more complicated, you know. Like before I started playing guitar, I had 650 cassettes, which I actually heard all the cassettes,
Right.
just to, like, you know, take music inside.
Yeah.
So then I realized I need to learn to kind of take the thing which what was happening was I was listening to music and I could hear there's something is brewing in my head that I can throw it out.
Yeah.
But I don't have the skills or the tools to do that, right? So then I thought, you know, I should learn music so at least I can understand and appreciate in a more better way. I mean, by the time in my school, people used to call me like an encyclopedia of rock and roll because I used to know which band, which cassette, where they have recorded, who's the producer. I used to learn all those things during
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like, so that's why I started learning guitar, and then somehow kind of got hooked into it. Like, started playing in 6 months. I was just will practice 6-7 hours a day, learn how to play rhythm and stuff like that. It's like
So how old were you then?
20.
Oh, so you started pretty late.
Yeah, absolutely. Really late, 20. I was just playing and around 6.5 months, and I kind of found few people to play with, a little who are better at playing. And I kind of had the rhythm sense from a very beginning. So I didn't have any issues with like following other people to play along with.
Right.
So that kind of helped. I don't know how I got it, but probably listening to music.
Yeah.
So then I joined the band and started playing, and I think the first band was Bohemians or something like that.
Okay.
I played with them for a few like few gigs and stuff like that. Then I found another guitar player who was really nice and could play a lot of stuff which I couldn't. So we played some original music, and the name of the band was Cyanide Angels. And I met one of my best friend over there, who was the drummer of my last band before I came from India. So, and I developed relationships and, met many friends, and that's how I got into music.
Holy moly.
Very cool. Did you tell me that you were in a band and you made it to MTV?
Oh yeah. So we used to make we made rock and roll in our own language, which is Bengali,
Yeah.
and our band was Prachi, which means obstacle or wall or something like that, which you could say. So we made our music and released our album, and Channel V used to be a part of MTV during that point of time.
Okay.
So they used to have a nationwide competition called Launchpad. So we were in Launchpad 3. We were the runners-up. I think we were the third place or the second place. I'm not exactly sure, throughout the country. And we kind of played rock music in our own language. And in India, like every state speaks a different language.
Yeah.
You don't but somehow we did cover a lot of English songs. That's what we have learned. And then we did our own original, the whole album, and kind of toured the whole country like that. So yeah, I mean,
Sweet.
And our band was the first band from our province which was broadcasted on Channel V for the first time. So that was something different.
Is there
Very
where?
cool.
So if I wanted to see that footage, is there somewhere where I could find that?
This is 2009. I'm not sure it's still there, but if I have to kind of look for it, I think there must be something there. I can send you a link.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
I'll definitely check it out. But
Yeah.
there is definitely one video which we made during that time. I think that is still there. It's called the song we had called Bharat Barsha, which is like India in our language. It's kind of say up yours to the countries,
Right,
somewhere or
yeah.
the other. So yeah. So,
দরিদ্র দেশের হতভাগ্য নাগরিক হসরিত হও তুলে নাও দায়ভার জাগুক শিরায় শিরায় গান সাথে থাকুন ভগবান এই স্লোগান হোক ভালো ভাবারের শেষে রক্তে রাঙা অন্ধদেশে থাকছি না আর ছদ্মবেশে পথে খালে যদি স্বর্গ মেশে ভারতবর্ষতে এখানে যে কষ্ট করে কেষ্ট মারি একা মনে অর্ধহারি একসাথে ঠিক করতে পারি ভারতবর্ষতে
That was allowed.
Metaphorically
Okay.
not allowed, yeah, but that was the message. But not as, I'm not saying the country is bad, it's just the corruption and other things which I never liked, which
Yeah,
Yep.
pissed me off. And so it's about the things that you don't like, you talk about, right?
Yep.
So,
right.
and that's what rock music is all about. Right?
Yep.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a big difference? Like, even though you've got access to like Canadian American music out in Kolkata,
Yeah.
is there like a big difference in the music scene? Like, if you were to compare the music scene from home to Saskatoon's music scene, is there like major similarities or differences there?
Now, I would say not that much. Probably the similar opportunities that you have it here, somewhat over there, because it's like a global village now, right? You have the internet and the access, and there are a lot
Right.
of bands who are traveling and doing that. But during the heydays of music, when then definitely there was a huge difference, because the opportunities that look, my knowing about the whole business side of it is reading books. I read books from Joe Perry, I read books from AC/DC, I read books from Phil Collins, and how they have explained music was, and what the music was, how the music was being recognized by A&R and the music industry. Mm-hmm. So those things were not there. I mean, you really have to struggle, and it was a really underground scene. Though
Right.
it was big and people were doing it, but we were doing it because we love it.
Yeah.
And there was no opportunity for anyone to, you play rock music and you will survive doing that. No,
Right.
no way.
Interesting.
No doubt. No doubt.
So is the let's call it classic Indian music, is that I feel like it's a bigger market than international music in India. Is that right?
Not even classical. Classical Indian music. Indian classical music has a different market. It's an international market.
Yep.
Which you would artists like Ravi Shankar, the S. Balasubramaniam, and people like that. And in fact, you must have heard John McLaughlin, who's a jazz guitar player, right? So John McLaughlin has
Sure.
band. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. Genre Club for me has a band called Shakti, which there's a lot of Indian classical musicians like Zakir Hussain and other Selva Ganesh. They all play together. So that I would say the context of Indian classical music, what stands right now, which is an international market, but the thing which is popular is Bollywood.
Bollywood, yeah.
So which I was never much interested in. I never had that.
Right. Well,
eagerness.
what's that? What's Bollywood?
It's like Indian Hollywood, but the movies are ridiculously over the top. It's great. If you want to see a guy with a rocket coming out of his ass or something, that's
okay.
Bollywood.
For sure.
That's Bollywood. Got it.
It's just something that never attracted me, and it pissed me off in some level or the other.
Right.
And they also have like these musical acts.
Oh
where
my God,
Where
those
they
are like, oh,
they're like
shit.
50 people dancing
Yeah.
to this Indian song.
Yeah.
It's you should look it up.
And
I
a
might.
lot of people do hate me because I hate that.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I mean-
So you learn how to play the guitar at 20 years old. You're in the scene at home. You're playing shows. You're touring, getting a little bit of attention. How did you get to, like, did the solo act aspect of what you do only begin once you came to Saskatoon, Saskatchewan?
I was planning for it for a long time, in the sense like there were music which comes from inside by myself. It's just like an expression of emotions. Like my music is definitely for me, after learning the instrument and practicing all the licks and the tricks that I kind of do, now that those knowledge is transformed from licks to emotions. Now what I feel, in fact, this whole list of 3 songs I played, and I'm going to do another 3 songs which I'm going to release soon. So this is something it was again kind of brewing with all the things that I've gone through in life. Like every one of us goes through traumas, happiness, and
Yep.
different things, right? So that's where it's coming from. It's just like it's like an emotions, a wave of emotions is coming out of me, and especially after pandemic, there's a lot of things kind of my mind, and I do like science fiction, but I do read books like from Michael Crichton, Robin Cook, and stuff like that. So those things were kind of there as well
Right.
in my head. So that kind of got me into that post-apocalyptic theme. On the other hand, the metaphor of the emotions that I was going through all my life, that's what it is right now. I mean, I was planning for it for a long time. I did some instrumental stuff before as well, but I did not release it. I scrapped it because I think a little bit more needs to come out. So
Right.
that's why it took some time. And by the time my life has changed a lot and this is happening.
Right.
So it kind of fell in place that I'm doing this after coming here.
Right.
So when you said scrapping the other songs,
Yeah.
did you scrap them, or are they still somewhere that you might pick up
I
on?
have to kind of look for it because those are recordings set somewhere lying in some hard drive. I have to kind of
Okay,
look about.
okay.
Like I might not have it as well, but I have to kind of check it out.
Right.
So do you when you have something in your head, do you do like a voice note somewhere, or do you?
I sometimes,
how-
if it's like a melody which is really kind of catching on my head, I record it on my phone and I keep it. I go home and kind of transpose it. Or if I'm home, I just turn on my computer and record it
Hell yeah.
immediately.
Right.
Like that's the beauty of modern recording, right? Like
Yep.
you can just put your ideas across as much as you can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, speaking of like modern recording, what was the we were kind of talking about it earlier, the program that you use when you're doing your recordings?
So the basic DAW, the digital workstation that I use, that's Cubase. The Cubase that I use, and I use a simple sound card. I have 3 actually. One is a Steinberger sound card. Another couple of them are both M audio. The new one which I bought is a little bigger and has more options in it. And for the drums, I use something called addictive drums. So what I do is technically I think about drums, right? So I kind of play my drums on my teeth, and I okay, this is with the bass drum, or and I got influenced by many drummers. For example, Vinnie Colaiuta is one of my favorite drummer who played with Jeff Beck, the Sting, and also played with Megadeth. So like the variety of playing, and then Simon Phillip, who played for Toto and other artists as well. So this kind of drummer, like I've grown up listening to. So I kind of think on their context of if I'm playing a groove and what should sound like. So I will kind of write it. I will think about it or play it in my teeth, and I will write it dig, da, dig, and then I play it, and I said, okay, so this is working. So then that's how I kind of make my drum. It takes a long time.
Hell
It's a tedious process.
No doubt.
Fun fact: Dave Grohl has terrible teeth because that's what he does. He drums with his teeth. And
that's the first time I've ever heard of anybody doing that.
Yeah, Dave Grohl does it too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So when you're playing live, like I've seen you with your mouth open a few times, like every now and again, like you're doing that, right? But do you find yourself like clicking your teeth when you're playing too?
Sometimes I do, or sometimes I'm grooving, because you see there's places in my song there's nothing there, and I don't use the backtrack because I'm listening to that what I'm throwing out, so I don't have the click track. So I kind of go with the groove. There's somewhere in my body is going around, either on my nose, on my ears, or something like that. Or I'm just, tapping on my feet. Something is going on, or on my fingers. I'll probably do this, or I'll probably do that. Like I don't think about it, but it's there.
Yeah. I'm so interested in how you create it from start to finish. Like, so like you said, sometimes you'll think of like a melody or whatnot, but
or groove as well. Like I'll think of a groove, and I said, like, this is interesting. And look, music is happening like more than 100 years, right?
Yeah.
We are not creating anything new. We are not taking out something off our ass, which is like absolutely out of the world. It's not happening.
Yeah, it's not Bollywood.
Sorry. So that's interesting you're saying that, because I had this thought the other day too, listening to some music, and I heard I had the radio playing in the vehicle, and I heard some familiar chords. I can't think right now what the song was, but it begins identical to another song that I'm familiar with, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. So then I started thinking of like copyright and like court cases and stuff where people are suing each other for music rights. But I had that same thought. I was like, there is nothing that anybody can come up with today that hasn't been done before. Yep. So like just lawsuits and stuff
there's another trick to it, which I believe. Like, let's say I like a lick. Okay, I played, and there's a lot of things to it. One is like, which key are you playing? What groove or what timing are you playing? Are you playing a groove in a rock format or a reggae format or a country format? So what you could do, you hear something and you try it in different ways that you like it. And again, as I said, like learning music is attaching yourself to an emotions. Like, you're making love, you listen to a music, and you kind of reminds me of that.
Right.
So lick is also something like that, like you learn a lick, and then I would think okay, I learned this, and this is the lick I could play. I heard this song. What can I do to make it different? Because I like it so much, I want to use it.
Yeah.
So I would change the timing, I would change the key, and I will change few notes in between to see how it's interesting and what it makes me feel. The thing that I'm thinking of during that song, am I making it a little darker or a little brighter? So this kind of thought that comes in my mind. If something that I like and I want to use it, I just don't copy it and paste it. That's bullshit, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to. You're a human being. You're an intelligent living creature.
Yep.
So use your brain and just play something which you would find it different. So and you can still create with those.
Absolutely.
So that's the beauty of it. For example, again, I'll go back to AC/DC. They played in a blues format, right? So, but if you listen to their albums, they're not a single song which sounds the same. The reason being, they're creating all the time. They're taking the same 3 chords and they're making it so many little changes and such well connected with the emotions or the things they're talking about, and it just works so well.
Was it Angus Young that said?
Angus Young.
He said something about he was upset because someone said that the 12 songs on their album all sounded alike, and he was like, "We have 13 songs, damn it!"
Yeah, I mean, if someone is saying that AC/DC's songs sounds the same, and they're probably not listening to it. They just
well, the basics are mostly the same.
I mean, like basic. Like, you listen to AC/DC or during the bands of that time, you listen to Deep Purple would be again a little bit on a diatonic side, which does not use the blues that much. They come from a background of classical music. What I feel like, I played a lot of Deep Purple at some point of time, playing for cover bands and stuff like that.
Right.
Yep.
So that's a different thing. But if you're Bad Company, AC/DC, and the bands of during that time, and Free, there was another band called Free. So you hear them that they use the blues format, but they kind of change and they create a lot of melodies out of that, which is not exactly like a 12-bar blues and they're playing, but they're using it. But that's how it is. You have to be creative with whatever you're learning and make some changes. Try it in a different way. You play one melody and then if you're playing with other people, listen, let's try it in a reggae context, right?
Yep.
And remember, like, if doesn't matter whether you're playing metal, you're playing reggae, you're playing rock, you can use all the influences to make sound different, and that's where the creativity is.
Yep.
Like,
I remember an interview with Ed Sheeran at some Dutch talk show or whatever, and he literally challenged everyone around the table, like, give me a pop song, and these 4 chords, or these four chords will create any pop song. Give me any pop song right now, and he played all of them in the same chords, and they all sounded like they were meant to be played like that. So it's the basic is all the same, but the flavors on top is what makes it different.
No, what you're saying is absolutely right, because like a scale, which is a C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. I'm just playing a normal natural scale, right? And each note of each scale can actually make a chord, and what is a chord? It's a bunch of notes that makes an emotion, right?
Yep.
So I'm not want to get into music theory, but like this 7 notes has something called what do you call it? Degrees. Like if I say 2, 5, 1, then I would say 2 means D minor, 5 means a G7, and 1 means C. So this is how you can put this format in every different scale and make that same chords and kind of same format in different scales and stuff like that. So most of the pop songs are kind of made on the same structure,
Yeah.
But if you think taking those pop elements and making it different, I would say one of the best writers were bands like Talking Heads, bands like Nirvana, bands like Silverchair, bands like Soundgarden. So what they would do, they would go out and put notes which are not inside those scales, make it interesting. And again, this concept again coming from jazz, because jazz has that elements of putting different things together and touching those outside part and then coming back in. I'm not a jazz player, but I'm a rock musician who's interested in different other things. Right? So and I like those elements that I kind of get to learn from other music. So that's how I think the music is, like, as he said, that Ed Sheeran said that you can make 4 chords with music. I understand, that's fine. But you can take that and again make it a little different.
Make it your own.
Make it your own. So that's the whole point.
Absolutely.
I really love how you keep, instead of saying sound, like you take these chords, instead of saying they make a sound, how you keep saying it makes an emotion. I really love that.
Yeah.
Because it truly does.
Well, music is emotion.
It's, exactly. Now I can't get off of that train of thought right now. Like, I think I just had an epiphany here, I think.
Oh, no.
As a result of that. Like, yeah, it's the emotion, it isn't sound. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But
Are you okay?
yeah, we gotta take a break on this one. No,
These emotions.
okay, so putting everything on your computer and using the programs that you're using. Is that all self-taught right there as well?
Oh yeah, that is completely self-taught because I wanted to record when I started playing. I realized, like I'm playing guitar and I have to do something. Like, how will I learn? Like, I need to, like capture it to hear what I'm playing. Because another thing which I actually learned from someone and guitar, I'll come to that. So. It is one of the important things for a musician is to hear what you're playing. How bad and how shitty you are, you need to understand that. And then only you'll improve. And trust me, there are hours of recording which I played and it's just crap. Yeah. And I played in senses, I played in a nonsensical way, I played drunk. And I just had to see what I kind of come up with. And probably 80% is shit, 20% is great. So that's how you learn music, right? You play 100% out of which you take the 20% and then you work on that 20% to make that another 40%.
Absolutely.
And there is no ending of learning. You tell me that if a musician thinks that I know everything, then he's gone.
Yep.
He should not do music, or she or they should not do music.
I remember one of the coaches, I think it was Simon Cowell at The Voice. One of the first seasons or maybe American Idol or something. Anyway, one of those shows, there was one of the judges that really harshly asked, like, have you ever recorded yourself and listened back to it? Because you sound terrible. So yeah, that makes sense. 80% is shit and 20% is okay.
I mean, like, these songs have been made, I think I'm still shit because the ones you think, again, you're the greatest and all that thing in your head, and it just
that
stops
ego.
your creativity. Forget about being ego. It just, trust me, like, the more you play, the more you have that, you need that enthusiasm to move forward, right? I play a lick today, tomorrow I play another song and I get the enthusiasm. Okay, I'm just creating something new, so I want more. So that hunger needs to be there. If you don't have that hunger, you will not create. Then you stop.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, okay, so being a solo artist living in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, how, like, are you currently, like, trying to book shows and gigs, and are you out there performing? Because, like, we see you at open stage.
Join bands, maybe?
But outside of open stage, like, I'm not too familiar with, like, if you're, I don't know, in the circuit or doing other shows. Like, I don't know.
I kind of reached out to few of the places to kind of for shows, and they did not get back to me. The one place I only played once, that was somewhere else pub.
Oh yeah.
Israel.
Yep.
And Matthew was really nice, and he kind of gave me a chance. I played for 2 hours over there, and but that's about it. And there was not much crowd the time I actually played. Probably 4 people were there, to be honest.
Right.
And it was a huge place, right? And you need a little bit of crowd being there to play it, so that like, to see how it feels. And the second of all, like, in the modern, like, if this was in the 70s and the 80s, people were listening to music not for the vocals but music as a whole. But now the popular music is made in such a way that the vocal has more precedence than the rest. And somehow, like, it's a responsibility of the artist as well. All the people who are responsible for the scene, for example, music, is to flourish everything together, and that's how it works. Like, it's like a family. Like, in a band, a vocalist is not more important than a drummer, and a drummer is no more important than a guitar player. Everyone has the equal say, and everyone is important, especially a bass player. Without a bass, the band sounds like shit. Yeah. So I'm just saying that these are the things that people need to understand. But like, when I reach out to people, I understand that they probably would not like full of people who would like to sit and listen to instrumental music or something that I would say through music, not through words.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, is a little different. If this was some other decade, probably things would have been different. Because, like you would hear recording artists like Al Di Meola, John McLaughlin, they were doing big shows and big stuff. It's not happening anymore. And the reason is that because the gatekeepers of music has made music in such a way that the vocal has the more precedence. You literally it's like a 4-year-old kid that you kind of spoon feeding them, and this is what you are, this is what you learn. And the rest you should not, somehow don't listen.
Yeah.
Right.
And now people are kind of, their mind is blocked because there are so many other, distractions.
Yeah.
And, it's some way or the other. I think if that, and that can only happen when a lot of different people kind of play. Like, as I was talking to you, like you think about Madonna, who was playing in the 80s, there were people like Manu Katché, who played drums for Sting, the Nathan East, who played who plays bass for Eric Clapton and Toto and other artists as well. Steve Lukather, who played for Toto, played for Michael Jackson. Eddie Van Halen played solo for Michael Jackson. So, this rock, pop, and everyone kind of coming together and making music. And producers like Quincy Jones, who were doing these things like that. So that is kind of stopped. I think right now, probably one producer producing songs for 5 fucking artists.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a very funny thing that actually happened. I was listening to a Toto song called Coming Home, and I heard another song. It sounds very familiar. It's like, I don't know, like I was driving and I came back home, and then I opened up I watched this channel by a guy called Rick Beato. He's also a musician, a producer and stuff like that. So he kind of was explaining, and I realized, this is the song I was listening to. So there was one song which is by Justin Bieber, written by 10 songwriters. They just copied the whole fucking, the chorus, and put it over there with different lyrics. 9 people wrote that song. And this is what they come up with.
And that's what they came up with.
Yeah.
Hey, come on, man. One good thing that happened in the modern music industry is that you have many tools to produce, in the sense, like sonically you can enhance a lot of things more clear and more in a different way, but which is much easier than what it used to be in those days.
Yeah.
Which is great. But on the other hand, if one person is producing 5 different bands, all the 5 fucking bands will sound the same.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's not supposed to be.
Yep.
Right.
Like everyone should have their speciality. Like I can do a good reggae record, and another person can do a good rock record, another person can do another great metal record. So that's how it should be. I mean, I can't, for example, I can't ask Dave Mustaine to record, to produce I'm just giving an example.
Right, yeah.
There's another producer
Yep.
to produce a reggae record.
It's
It's not done. Like, everyone has their speciality. So that's how I think, that's why, like coming back to what you're saying. So it just, I haven't got many positive response for that.
Right.
Probably if I play with a band, people seeing playing with other people might attract them. And it's not that it's not there in this country. There is a great band from Canada, Intervals. I don't know if you heard of them or not.
Who?
Intervals.
Okay.
They're from Ontario. In fact, they came to India to play as well.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, they're like the guy who actually formed the band. His name is Aaron Marshall. He's one of the best guitar players in the world at the moment.
Okay.
And his music is amazing. And everyone who plays in the band, they're like super players, like beautiful. And it's very melodious. It's not that, you're just playing theories and stuff like that.
Right.
It just, it touches you. In fact, they have a song called Epiphany. You should check it out. It's awesome. So I'm just saying that it's there. It's there, and it's been very segregated now. There is a certain crowd in certain province, or it's certain crowd with certain group of people. I probably have to find the people who would be interested in it. Probably a gathering of a musician would like my song music, or I don't know. To be honest, at the end of the day, I do this because I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to do it. Like, doesn't matter if something happens to
Yeah.
it or not.
Yeah.
And I'll keep trying to find people to play with. I will go and approach people to let me play. So I'm just playing wherever I can.
Right.
You know, that's my approach at the moment.
Right.
And I'm trying to build a lot of, like, for example, you know, making small videos, putting up online, just to see what the reaction. I'm trying to understand the whole online world as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
By doing that.
Yeah, that's another beast altogether.
Yeah.
What I got going on through my head right now, do you have like any type of theater background or anything in that aspect or area? Or no?
Not exactly in that way, because I used to work for as a multimedia consultant for a production company. So I probably would, like handle a lot of actors and other things.
Right.
Okay, this needs to be done, and that should be the set designing and stuff like that. That's what I did in India,
Right.
right? Like a little bit of video editing, a little bit of set. I was the main liaison between the client with the advertising company and the production team, who was the creative part. So that was my job.
Right.
So yeah.
I was thinking of like, because if you did, what I would suggest is like, because it's like a one-man show, right? And you're putting out that emotion that you're trying to project out there of what created the song, that maybe like for I like the music video idea, but I'm thinking for like stage wise, if there was like little mini stories that fit the emotion to your songs, like a little mini play, a 5-minute play where you could have a couple actors on stage performing some type of scene that enhances that emotion on top of what you're trying to project out of the song. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that's how I don't know if
that's a great idea,
I don't know if it is or not. It's just an idea, but yeah, that's kind of that's what I'm envisioning. Is like I see a little type of play performance, and then if that was to come into fruition, then when booking shows, it could be like, you know, this
much.
this
It's a
whole
it's a
big
different
thing.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
something like
I
that.
get it.
You could do that, like have like a music video, but without you as the main
No,
character. in the
absolutely.
video.
Yeah,
That's
just
what I
have
was-
the videos
and then-
telling that story.
Yeah, and then when you
That's
do
what
a show, you have a projector and play it behind you.
That's what I was thinking. It
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
in fact, last day when I was playing at the Capitol,
Yep.
and I was talking to someone like, yeah, that's what my idea is, that, you know, to make a presentation, not a presentation, I would say a video, which is
Yep.
not me, just to kind of project what I'm trying to say. So I would probably do this with the 3 songs which I'm doing at the moment. And I'm just gonna, since I'm a one-man thing and I have to work and stuff like that,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna finish by end of March. I'm planning to finish all the songs that I want to do and out for the release.
Yeah.
I would be making couple of videos with those 2 songs, which is gonna come out. One is The Light of Darkness, the one which I played before. I haven't released that song yet, so
Okay.
I'm just still working on the mixing part of it.
Yep.
And there's another song which is actually a childhood friend of mine actually played with me. He played the drums. He sent the track back from India. I kind of mixed it. So that's gonna happen. And then and there's another couple of songs which I have already made. It's done. One is Inside Out. Inside Out is more of you can take it in many different ways, but I wrote the song thinking of you know, the differentiation between sex, gender, and mostly on that context.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think in world, the problem that creates, which is a very sensitive subject, to be honest, but I kind of say it in any way, like controlling women is another thing that kind of pisses me off in some way or the other, and that is the main root cause of a lot of things in the world, you know, like controlling a certain sex or a certain gender kind of creates and also not accepting people with different gender and sex and gender are very different things. A lot of things to be talked about these things. So that's the concept that actually came to me, and I'm kind of don't like the things what happening in the world in some way or the
Yeah.
other. So it's
Yep.
and again it has a different metaphor as well, like what I'm doing right now with the post-apocalyptic things and
Yep.
what's gonna happen. So it gonna come out in 2 different ways. So that's one song. Another one is Dance of Uncertainty, so which is again a very crazy song being played, and it's literally very uncertain. This is kind of coming up and down and off timing, not in time, and stuff like that. That's one song, and that I probably can't perform without another person. I need a drummer for that.
Right.
Okay.
So let's see. I'm working on that other aspect as well, to kind of creating backtracks so I can play with another drummer. So
You know
yeah.
a drummer.
I know.
You know a couple of
a
drummers.
couple of drummers that I'm gonna approach them. They're a very busy person, but I will definitely approach them and see.
Yeah.
I'm just working on making those backtracks. I have to finish the songs. I have to make those backtracks. I have to make the videos. A lot of work is there in between.
Yeah, yeah.
Freaking
Some-
right. Dude, I my hat's off to you for just being able, just doing
all.
it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just like, oh, I want to figure out how to do this. Well, here we go.
I'm just
and-
gonna grind my teeth and make a song.
Oh yeah, it's literally like.
Yeah, no, I think that's amazing, man. It's very, very interesting. But yeah, do you have any other like specific hard hitting questions?
No.
I think it's fair to say that you will have to come back on here
Oh,
on the
sure.
program,
I
man.
would-
You please promise to come back anytime. There's we're only scratching the surface. This is your first appearance on the show, and we truly appreciate it. But we are running out of time.
No worries.
So with that, if you could tell the people who are in-house as well as watching on YouTube or listening on Spotify where we can like try and direct people to listen to more of your music.
I would say Spotify. Spotify, search for Jayincorp, and you can find it on their radios as well. My song is there on their radios too. So yeah, just listen to it from there. And as I'm making more videos and more video presentation or whatever you say it, a video representation of my songs, that would definitely come up, and you will get to know from these guys as well, because I'm going to post it in such a way that everyone get to know.
Absolutely,
so
man.
I'll definitely do that. And thanks to Mark and Joe. I always thank them whenever I play at Capitol. Like, they made the scene very different than what it was, and I really appreciate that. And like, you know, you remind me of a couple of people when I was a kid and I saw them doing that, and they were enthusiastic about music, and that always give me enthusiasm to do it. You know,
Hell
and
yeah.
that's awesome. Like, thank you.
Well, man,
thank you.
all the thanks goes to you. You're the one who's doing all the hard work. We got it easy,
Oh, yeah,
man.
you guys are
compared
doing a
to
lot
what
of hard
you're
work
doing.
as well.
We're
Don't
just
say
piecing
that.
it together.
Yeah, we're just exactly.
And
no,
I
man.
think that we all do it together. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's how the
Exactly.
scene would
Exactly. It. I
work.
couldn't agree more.
I can't do this without your help, and
And without your help, we have nothing to do.
And without you, we'd have nothing to do. So, absolutely, I get it, man. I just want you to know you are a friend of the family here. You are part of
Thank
our
you.
herd that we're trying to create. So I commend
Not
you.
trying. We are creating.
We have created
Yeah.
it. We just added another member to the herd. So
Yeah.
thank you, Jay. Please, this is an open door policy. So anytime you want to come talk about music or talk about anything, just come shoot the shit. Even without the cameras on, please just hit us up. You know how to find
absolutely, thank you.
You know where Joel lives now.
I know. And thank you, everyone. Thank you for.
Thank you
such a
to
warm
those of you
welcome
in
for
house
being
and
here.
to those
Thanks.
of you at home. We'll see you guys next week.